Oh shit! Welcome to the Word on the Street, people. Live coming at you. It's Thursday. I believe it's November 6th, but I've been under the weather all week. I've got a swimmy head, so I do apologize if anything comes out weird. But let's get right down to it. It's going to be a short show. We'll go straight to the guests here. Everybody that we have on, as always, Jake from the MMA podcast, producing, co-hosting. Jake, how are you doing?
I do not like to be rubbed in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I'm doing good. Check us out on Twitter at the MMA Podcast. Visit the MMA Podcast.com. We just had Wayne Barrett on a week or so ago. He's going to be fighting this Friday at Glory 18. Check out our interviews with Chris Lieben, Misha Tate, John Anik, a bunch of folks. Ramses, as always, it's an honor for you to have me on.
It is. And also with us, another co-host, co-founder. He is the living legend himself, Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing outstanding, fellas. How are you?
Great, great. And I'll get back to you in 1 second. We have some good news about you, and I want to cover that. But our guest tonight, we'll get right to him. He is on the line with us right now. He is an MMA insider legend, social media icon, journalist, prognosticator,
international sensation.
Predictor, everything. He is front row. Brian, how you doing, man?
Better than you.
Welcome to the damn show. It's good to have you quote back on. Not saying that you have or have not been on before.
Yeah. You know where I ripped that? Scott Hall's Hall of Fame speech. He said, back in the day, Chico, if you asked me how I was doing, say better than you.
I've since the last time I talked to you a long time ago, I've actually gotten back in. I'm back in with the WWE wrestling. I got on the WWE network. I started following again, catching up, and I noticed they often show the Scott Hall where he's like going through a market, like buying fruit and just like pushing people around and shit. I love that clip, man.
It's a shoot, man, 100%. It's the way it was back then.
What do you think?
Men were men during the New World Order days.
What do you think? Do you think Scott Hall was serious when he gave Chael shit about ripping his slogan off? The bad guys one. You think that was for real? Is that guy really that dumb?
Yeah, he is. You know, he's got some problems, but you know, he ripped off Scarface. So he ripped his shit off somebody. And that's why, like, one time, not a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, Chael and I, we called up superstar Billy Graham. And he lives in Phoenix, Arizona. And, you know, Chael was a little uneasy about calling him because, you know, it was like people have been giving him shit for using his lines.
Yeah.
And Superstar was just like, brother, I love your delivery. I'm humbled that you're using my promos, giving them life. And he's like, I ripped them off Ali. Ali ripped him off Gorgeous George. So it's just like, it's a compliment. And he's just being a fucking mark.
Yeah, he didn't see that it was actually like it's like when you do, it'd be like AC/DC, just in the news today, but it'd be like them getting mad at a cover band. It's just a tribute, you know? It's bullshit.
Yeah. Did those charges get dropped for the drummer?
I don't think so. I think I think they just hit today.
Yeah, that's what happens when you use SuperCal for your news outlet, for your news source. SuperCal said that all the charges were dropped and it was a big misunderstanding. And he lives in New Zealand, I think. I thought he had the whole thing figured out. But that's what happens when you use that guy as your source.
Callow, man. I'm guessing he's an AC/DC fan. He seems to be
Word
in that
on the
era.
favela.
It's a mystery who he actually is, though, man. Nobody has any fucking clue. It's the goddamn.
I swear on my life, I don't know who he is. I know he's some dude that lives in New Zealand. That's all I've been told.
Oh,
and the UFC tried to go after the Underground to get his real identity, his IP and shit. The Underground said, Keurig said, no, we can't do it. They wanted to sue him for manipulating images of Dana's tweets. I mean, and what was so funny about it was, I mean, some of the stuff was so ridiculous. It brought me back to the People versus Larry Flint, that people couldn't possibly believe that Jerry Falwell was having sex with farm animals. You know, like you couldn't possibly take that seriously. Like, why would you even? But
Yeah, I thought that was all bullshit. I didn't even know that was that's true that they went after him, man. That's very odd, but maybe he's so ridiculously close to the truth they had to put a stop to it. I don't know. Maybe he is legit, dude. Maybe this guy is 100% legit. Who knows?
I suspect you're right.
Yep. Well, but Coach Jamie Huey, before we get into a couple quick MMA topics, Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey, I haven't congratulated you on Twitter or written to you about it because I wanted to actually speak to you when I did so and congratulate you. Apparently, you are about to have a baby, a son. I believe your first kid is on
Congrats,
the way.
Coach.
That's the official news. Is that for real or was it a fake? Or is this a hoax?
No, this is real, man. I've got a baby boy Brazilian, 4 months on the way. I'm excited, man. This is the official merger of the Team Darkside and the Team Bad Guys.
So now it makes sense.
Right here, so.
Your alliance with Vanderlei makes sense now. You're having a half Brazilian baby.
The newest member of Team Darkside.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you, man. I'm super excited. Tiago, his name's going to be Tiago.
Yeah,
so
you already have
he's a big boy for his age. He's already huge. The doctor was looking at the ultrasound, and for 4 months they couldn't believe how big he was already. So
yeah, you already got the name Tiago. Mind if I ask what's up?
So here's something's kind of interesting. So so thank you, brother. I appreciate it. So biblically, my biological name is James. I always thought it was a biblical name. And so my girlfriend was asking me, where did you get the name James? I said, well, it's biblical. It's, one of the 12 apostles. And she says, no, it's not. And we kind of got in a little discussion about, yes, it is. And we actually went in, and you can research this on Wikipedia and whatnot. It was kind of an Anglo culture to go back and change the names. So some of the Anglo Christians didn't like the name Tiago, so they actually changed it to James. But one of the apostles' actual name was Tiago. So I guess it's kind of like a reference to Junior, but we're going with the Portuguese version of it. So I've got a little Junior on the way.
Congratulations, man! I'm happy for you. This is going to be great for you. But are you ready? Are you nervous?
A little both. Excited. 4 months, so there's obviously some time to still, but I'm definitely excited, man. I had a stepson and raised him, and coached all his baseball teams, and he boxed. So I'm excited to be able to do all that again. I've got a reason to start playing video games, and
yeah, you do, man. Do you think? Do you think this would have happened if you had not been on Tough Brazil 3 on Team Sonnen?
No, because really, that's where I met my girlfriend over there in Sao Paulo. She's originally from Rio,
nice.
But in Sao Paulo. So
wow, so it changed your entire life.
I mean, it really did, man. It really kind of set a lot of things up. So I think the Brazilians are pissed off at me again because fortunately, I took the prettiest girl out of Brazil and took her back to the States with me. So just when we kind of amended some of those broken relationships, I think I've upset them again. But what are you going to do?
Awesome. Well, Front Row Brian, what about you, man? You're out there. Where are you at carousing? How many kids do you got tucked away that you know about?
I don't have any kids. I've never been married either. And
nice.
I'm getting old now, man.
Is that by choice?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have free will, right? So it's choice, yeah.
Yeah, I'm right, man.
Yeah, at least for now.
Yeah. See, I think you and I are the same age, and I'm the same way, man. No kids, no wife. I have no interest in it. I'll avoid it at all costs.
I like kids. I'm not against it. Yeah, it's just not for me right now.
I hear you.
I kind of have to grow up myself.
I hear you, man. We're just sorry, guys. Just wanted to talk life here. It's good news coming from Jamie Huey. We wish you and the kid and the mother nothing but the best. We'll follow up on that. We'll keep. I mean, we'll have the kid on the show eventually. I bet. No
Exactly.
problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, front
Thank you,
row.
man. I appreciate that.
No problem, man. Front row though. I did want to get into a quick couple topics. First of all, Chael Sonnen, good friend of yours. You guys are close. Um, he just launched his own podcast. So far, it's going good. He's hit #1 a few times. He's had Ariel, Chris Lieben on the show. What's your take on the Chael Sonnen podcast so far? And what's the deal with you being on it soon? I heard you're making a guest appearance. You're saying.
Yeah, I got a call from Chael at work, and he never calls me at work, so I thought, oh wow, I mean, he must have something to tell me. And he's like, well, what are you doing November 11th at 11 a.m.? And I'm like, well, it's Veterans Day, I'm off. And he's like, all right, well, you're going to be on the show. And so Phil Baroni's going to be on, and I'm going to be on. So that'll come out November 12th. And the podcast is doing awesome. I mean, like, he's doing better than Stone Cold, Chris Jericho, all of these guys. And the one with GSP, because I don't want to put out any figures. Like, I don't know if he wants figures out, but I'll say that it did 5 times what Stone Cold usually does.
Nice.
You know, and that's not to like call out Stone Cold. That's just to give you an idea. And of course, you know, it's not all Chael. I mean, GSP is a big fucking deal.
Yeah,
but it has a lot to do. Yeah, exactly, the combo. So it's exceeding everyone's expectations, and the first 2 to 3 months is the most important part of this podcast as far as the business aspect with Podcast One, because that's when they go out, after about 6 to 8 weeks, they go out to the advertisers and say, hey, these are the numbers, and you have to pay us X amount of dollars for every click or, you know, or whatever. So, you know, if you guys enjoy the podcast, you know, click on that link. And if you buy shit on Amazon, they trace it back to Chael's podcast. And, you know,
awesome.
That's good for him, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're always, I buy shit on Amazon. I might as well, you know, have Chael get credit for it.
Yeah, I'll do that from now on.
There's a link right on the podcast one.
And to give you a good idea of like how good Steve Austin or Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast is doing, you know, and again, I won't throw out numbers either, but he's staying at home and turning down movie deals to stay home and do his podcast. So if Chael's 5-timing the number of clicks that Steve's getting, that just kind of puts it in perspective of what type of numbers he's doing, and that's not even counting. I mean, I can't open up my app on my phone, MMA Junkie or The Underground, and half the stories on there are something that came off of Chael's podcast. If it's GSP talking about, you know, aliens, or if it's, you know, whatever proverbial story they got up for the week that came off his podcast. So yeah, he's murdering it out there.
It was a worthwhile listen. Sorry, Brian.
No, I was just going to say, you know, if there was a job description that's perfect for him, it's talk show host. I mean, he likes to talk and talk and talk. He'll talk about anything. This is just perfect for him. So he can talk, you know, it's starting out more MMA centric, but I can see it kind of expanding out, just like Joe Rogan. I can see it getting a little bit political, going into professional wrestling, boxing,
aliens,
pop culture, all kinds of things. There's really no limit to what he can talk about because he has such a unique insight on so many different things.
Yeah, I want to hear.
If anyone listening hasn't heard it, definitely check it out. I wanted to ask though, Ramses, what did you make of GSP? I guess alleging that a monster erased his childhood memories.
Yeah, this fucking GSP guy. Like, I listened to it. I'm glad that Chael like actually went like off MMA, like you're saying. He did talk about the aliens because honestly, like that's the only thing that I would actually care about hearing GSP talk about at this point. Like,
and props to him for being so, you know, open about stuff that he knows is probably going to have a lot of backlash if that's what he really believes.
Yeah, he opened up, man. But I mean, like, well, I'll be honest. I think that GSP is just honestly like he's probably more than likely like the simplest explanation is probably the true one. He's probably taken too many shots to the head. It's some sort of
Yeah.
and then maybe he's had some sort of childhood issue or trauma or something. But I do not believe, and he's not even saying specifically that he's been abducted by actual beings from another planet.
I mean, he got bullied a ton.
Yeah, who knows, man? I don't know if he's crazy or not, but actually, while we're talking about GSP, front row, you think GSP is actually going to come back? I know he's training again, but that doesn't mean shit. Is he actually coming back? Have you heard anything?
Yeah, I think he's coming back. It's just a matter of when, and when the dust settles between Hendricks and and Lawler, but I think the fight to me that I really like is Ben Askren versus GSP. Ben
Really?
will walk into the UFC and beat up Johnny Hendricks easy.
Beat
and
him
then
up?
GSP can come back, and then we can have Ben Askren versus GSP, and it'd be one of the biggest pay-per-views, almost like Anderson versus Chael in 2012.
I don't doubt him, dude.
You're a Ben Askren fan, Brian, but do you really think he'll sell pay-per-views? I mean, do you think he's got what it takes? I mean,
He's a
obviously
really
his
good
style-
talker.
That's true.
If you put him in the UFC right now, he's one of their top 5 stars. There's no question about it, because I even talk to people that know him from high school, and he's just really good at being a fucking dick. And I don't mean that like he's not a good guy or anything.
Yeah, he plays it up.
Good at pissing people off. So he just gets under people's skin. I mean, he's going after Johnny Hendricks, for fuck's sake. Johnny Hendricks is like a very likable guy, and he's going after him. I think Johnny Hendricks thinks about him at night.
Do you think Ben Askren beats GSP?
Yeah, Ben'll beat anybody at welterweight. I mean, his wrestling is just another league. It's not even close, and his striking just continues to get better. Working with Duke Rufus up in Milwaukee, and he's also with what's the gym in Asia? What's that gym in Asia?
Sit Young Dung or whatever.
No, the one that's aligned. No, the one that's aligned with ONE FC.
Ah, Christ.
Evolve.
He Sims is a part of it. No, Evolve MMA.
Yeah.
Evolve. All right. Well, damn. I hope we do see him, just because, like, I like when they bring in somebody new, just because like when they brought in next topic, Rockhold. Rockhold comes in, Vitor demolishes him, and then ever since then he's just been trying to recover to get back up to the top. Now he's fighting Bisping this weekend. But I did notice, I got to ask you, front row, Brian, the UFC after, Luke Rockhold name dropped you on Ariel Hawaii's show, Helwani. I'll say it right for right now. He name dropped you on the show. I got to ask, is there something, are you guys pals and we didn't even know about it? Because I noticed the next day, of course, on the UFC.com website, the headline was Front Row Rockhold. What's the deal with that? What do you know about that?
My tentacles reach out to areas that people cannot even imagine.
Yep.
So I can't give you a specific answer on that, but I think Luke's going to take care of business against Bisping. I think Bisping's time has come and gone, and I hope his eye is okay. It looks really rough, but
the cut or the one that's like barely, like he can. I heard he's blind.
It's going in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
but I don't get any kick out of saying things like that about him, because Bisping is cool. He's been nice to me, and I don't have anything against him. I just don't want to see the guy's eye, be permanently fucked up,
Yeah, I've honestly heard the man is like pretty much like legally blind in that one eye, man. Like,
Yeah, but getting back to that name dropping, I thought it was great because Ariel hates me. I mean, he hates me. He's fucking terrible, man.
Yes.
And I think it's great because he really thinks like he's a lot bigger than what he is. This is a niche sport. He has a little bit of a voice, and but he thinks that he's a really big deal.
What is the beef there?
The show. He's just a piece of shit. If you wanted me to go into all kinds of fucking stories, we'll be here all goddamn night, and I'll never get to go drink my beer after this.
I'll back you up on that.
He's a piece of shit, and we don't get along, and I know that the sound of my name angers him, and I'm happy about that. So fuck him.
Yep. I gotta agree, man. Ever since that son of a bitch ambushed a nice guy, Bob Sapp, on his show and just railroaded him, drug him through the mud, I've not respected the man as a journalist and as a person. And
yeah, he's a little piece of shit. He's one of these guys, in school everybody picked on, and now because he gets to sit behind his microphone, he can dish it back to these guys that were fucking with him, in high school.
Yep.
Why did Chael choose him as the first guest on his show?
Question.
Who the fuck knows? I mean, even the best fuck up sometimes.
Just hijack his audience. Why not? If you have to talk to the son of a bitch, at least get something out of it.
The real answer to that was Podcast One looked at his Twitter followers. They judge a lot of stuff by Twitter followers. So Ariel's got however many Twitter followers, and they said, yeah, okay, let's go with him.
It did make sense. I mean, he is we have to admit, he is one of the most prominent MMA journalists out there. So it stands to reason. And
there's no question. He has a really important voice in this, but he's let it go to his head. And like I said,
yeah,
he's just a fucking piece of shit.
I agree.
I try to look for the good in a lot of people, and I can't find any good with that guy.
Well, let's switch it on to, okay, you can't find good with that guy. What about the girls, though? I have to ask you, there's been a little bit of heat on Twitter between you and a tough contestant, a female MMA rising fighter, Felice Herrig. I got to ask, what's the deal with this? Is this for real, man? Is it patched up already? You guys don't like each other?
No, I don't give a shit about her, and I give even less of a shit about that cuckold manager of hers that I've witnessed. I was at UFC 136 in Houston. He just follows her around like a little puppy dog while she flirts with every goddamn fighter in the bar. I mean, literally, I was kind of amazed because there's one guy, I think, he thought, hey, man, I'm going to bring her back to the room. I won't say his name because I don't know his current situation. But and then she just off to the next one, and this fucking cuckold is like a little puppy dog following her around all fucking night. And and he wants to come after me. He wants his friend. He had a friend tweet a picture of him with his boxing gloves on, like he was going to beat me up, and he says I better run. Well, I've never run from anything in my life, and I'm not tough, but I'm not going to be a fucking bitch. So if that guy, if he wants to come on, then come on. What am I going to do? I'll do the best I can. I'm not going to fucking run, from some cuckold. And I heard he's got a wife at home. He's running around with this very masculine-looking Felice Herrig. He's got a chin that, I'm jealous of. I was like, well, shit, I wish I could get my chin to look like that. But you know what? I'll just sum it up for you guys real quick. Fuck her and fuck him.
And that's the bottom line, as Stone Cold would say. Holy shit. Well, yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, guys. I gotta run.
Yeah,
so
no
that's why I
problem.
kind of summed that up real quick. But always a pleasure. And Jamie, let's catch up, buddy. I'll be out in Vegas in UFC 181. Try to get Reese.
I'm here, brother.
What's up, Huey, buddy? Good to hear your voice.
What's going on, my man?
New baby.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate
Get down
that.
there and see you.
You having a
I'm
boy.
here, man. Yeah,
You're having
absolutely.
A boy.
I'm exactly.
Brazilian.
Now, I gotta know. If it was me, the last thing I would want is a boy, because I'm a knucklehead. I got to raise it to be a man.
Yeah.
Are you in the same boat there?
You know, I thought I did pretty good with my stepson. So I think if I keep the same template the second time around, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, he's a good kid, man. Good to hear your voice. Give me a call. Let's catch up and keep wearing that cool
Thank
hat
you, man.
wear.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll bring it for you. Yeah, make sure you have my bike lock when you come back down here. I need it.
Uh-oh. The hell?
Oh, buddy, I'll never lose that thing.
All right,
You guys are
okay.
good, man. We got beer to drink.
Yeah, man, go drink those beers, man. Thank you, Front Row Brian, for coming on. We'll have you on again soon, man. Drink the cold
and all
beer.
those people I told to fuck off, I meant it. Bye.
We believe you. There he goes. Front Row Brian out of here already. Wow. Drinking the cold beer up there in Portland, Oregon. Having a good time. Telling people that he needs to tell to fuck off. No problems about it. Always blunt honesty. I can't tell him how much I appreciate that here on the Win the Street podcast. We're left with Jake and Coach Jamie Huey. Coach Jamie, man, what's been going on in your neck of the woods? You're still in Vegas. The last time we checked on you, is that the case right now? What do we got going on? And let's give a preview for next week before we kind of just start to wrap this up here.
Yeah, man, I've just been busy, man. Yesterday, I ran class over at my boxing class over at Extreme Couture in Vegas, which is open for privates and also drop-ins. So anybody out there, as you guys are coming down to drink beer in Vegas and spend all your money in the casinos, pack your gloves, come over to the gym, do an hour of training. We got some of the greatest coaches in the world at that gym, some of the greatest fighters in the world in that gym, and we definitely have the biggest, most beautiful gym in Las Vegas. There's maybe possibly the world, man. Extreme Couture, the facility is just on another level.
It is.
So I ran practice yesterday, and then I run over to my buddy's gym, Long Life Fitness over here. And legendary coach Kenny Adams is over there working with world champions. I mean, you like the who's of everybody in boxing comes through that gym. You name it, they've been there. So I run over there. I hang out with Kenny and Coach Clayton. I have an honor. I try to soak up as much knowledge as I can from Kenny. And then after that, I ran over visit my boy Jason over at the new Roy Jones Jr. gym here in Las Vegas. So then it was just a great day today. Woke up, did my boxing class, worked a couple privates, went over to pro practice at Couture, and it's an honor to see guys like Gray Maynard in there, and Misha obviously is down there, and
Gray Maynard's
Brad
back
Tavares, and I held mitts for Ray Seffo tonight. So
Nice.
I'm just living the dream, brother. Yeah.
I thought Gray
Sugar
Maynard
fight.
I thought he was kind of done, so he's back training. Nice.
He's back. I think he's lost a couple tough fights, but he's back at Couture, and I believe that's where he was the most successful when he was here. So he's
true.
back over at Couture with us.
Nice.
And then Saturday night there's a show here. I got called for cutman duty. They're actually Swayze Valentine. They're doing a documentary on her.
Oh, awesome. What?
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of co-corner the other side of the ring, wrap hands, work cuts with her as a film documentary. I think it's called One Kicks. It's at the Las Vegas Sports Center, I believe. And then Sunday, I jump in my truck. I head up to Utah. I've got a couple guys I'm going to work up there, do some training with. So everybody in Utah, if you're listening to this, hit me up on Twitter. I'll be available for privates up there for probably a week, possibly 2 weeks. And then after that, I bounce back down here to Las Vegas again.
Excellent.
That's my schedule. But,
Coach,
yeah.
your boy Chris Algieri is just a couple of weeks out of his fight against Pac-Man.
Yep.
Have you seen him as he's making his final preparations?
You know, I haven't. He was down at Long Life. His head coach, Tim Lane, is kind of he was the boxing coach. I took over Tim's spot, you know, when he kind of went full time with Algieri. So I know Tim, obviously, but I haven't really been around Chris. I think I saw him in the gym once. Yeah, he's got a big fight, man. So, you know, shout out to Chris and Tim Lane and also Chris on that Pacquiao fight. I mean, he's got his hands full. Pacquiao's no small feat, but, you know, the boxing consensus of a lot of these guys in Vegas is Algieri is really an extremely intelligent, smart boxer. The guy's got a degree. He's a doctor. He's got, I mean, you know, the guy's really super humble and intelligent. And I hear a lot of people saying that there's a good possibility that Algieri could really upset Pacquiao. I mean, we're talking about Manny Pacquiao, so that's not a small feat. But from the people that are on the inside, they have nothing but good things to say about Algieri. And Algieri's an undefeated fighter, so I'm excited about the fight.
Nice. This is kind of a selfish question here, but I'm looking for some shit to watch tonight. Any good boxing documentaries that you guys can think of? Like, I'm down for, like, watching old boxing fights doesn't exactly do it for me. For some reason, watching a good old documentary about a fighter, I don't even care if it's the worst one that ever lived. I can watch that shit all night.
You know, you just kind of alluded to something interesting, because I think that's what MMA does so well that boxing is missing, is telling the story, getting you emotionally connected in the fighters and the fight, and giving you another reason. I mean, high-level boxing, the sweet science is fascinating to watch, but when you know the story behind it, like maybe Bernard Hopkins is fighting Saturday, the guy's 2 months away from his 50th birthday. You know that he went to prison. He lost his first professional fight. He came back and became a world champion, fought all the greats. There's a story there, and that kind of emotionally draws you into it a little bit more. So I think that's what MMA is doing, that boxing is trying to pick up, but it's not quite there yet. But if I was gonna a documentary, there is a documentary. I don't know if you saw it. I can't remember what it was called, but it's Louis Resto versus Steve Collins, and it's a documentary about Panama Lewis, who is a coach that basically got banned from boxing. He took the padding out of Louis Resto's gloves. Louis Resto was a New York fighter. He was kind of a journeyman. Steve Collins was a guy that was on his way up, undefeated. They took a lot of the padding out of his gloves. Louis Resto went out there, just damaged the Steve Collins guy. Collins was never the same and went into a drunken rage, and his dad, was trying to sue the athletic commission, turned into a big mess. Collins ended up driving off a cliff and dying. And Louis Resto actually went to prison with Panama Lewis, I believe, for like almost attempted murder or homicide or something in this fight. And he gets out, and Panama Lewis, legendary coach, can't work any more corners anymore. And basically the documentary tells the story.
It sounds horrible.
Now, I'm leaving some things out on purpose because I don't want to give it away.
Oh, okay.
But there's some things that happen in the documentary that'll just blow your mind. But they get Louis Resto, and they take Louis Resto, and they take him back to his coach, Panama Lewis, and they're trying to find out the truth, because both of these guys have been denying that they tampered with these gloves the whole fight. Can't remember the name of the documentary. You could probably Google Louis Resto, Steve Collins, and it'll come up. But that would be my first pick as far as a documentary I'd refer you to.
I'll watch it tonight if I can find it.
A few years ago, I saw a really good 30 for 30 doc called Muhammad and Larry, and it looks at the 1980 fight between Ali and Holmes. A ton of footage, really goes deep in it. Was an awesome doc.
I'll check that one out too, man. That's just old fight stories, man. Just in general. I love old fight stories, man. Someone's got to put together like a channel to where that's all it is.
You know, the Joe Louis story, I mean, everybody knows me. I'm a Joe Louis fan. Like that is my guy. The Joe Louis story is another one. I mean, the things that man went through and the pressure that he dealt with you can't go wrong with a Joe Louis documentary as well.
I'll check it out. I'll probably end up watching the Tyson show again, the live show. That was a good one, man. It's just a bunch of laughs, funny as hell. Good times, man. But yeah, basically, you know, it was a short show tonight. Let's go ahead and start to wrap this up. But I just want to get everybody out there. Jake from the MMA podcast. What's up with you? What's going down? Where can people find you? What's happening?
Yeah, just follow us on Twitter at the MMA Podcast, themapodcast.com. Once again, Ramses, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Jake. Coach Jamie, the living legend, Huey, Team Sonnen, Extreme Couture coach, and future father-to-be. Congratulations once again. Where can people find you? Any shout-outs? Any last bit of news or anything you want to say? What's happening?
At Twitter at Coach Jamie Huey, email just be CoachJamieHuey@gmail.com. I try to brand just about everything to Coach Jamie Huey. So if you're trying to find me on Twitter or Instagram or email, I'll be in Utah next week, so I'll be up there training. So anybody out that way want to hit me up for privates. Other than that, I know Brian didn't get a chance to plug his podcast, but I believe he's got a podcast coming out as well. So,
I was going to ask him, but he took off.
Yeah, him and Reese have got they've got quite a bit of beer to drink, and I've hung out with both of those guys on many occasions, so I can tell you there might be a story in the newspaper tomorrow if they're not careful.
I wouldn't doubt it, man. The Front Row Brian podcast is going to launch in December. And I thank him for coming on this show. I thank Jake.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Last plug I want to give, guys. Next Thursday, same place, same time, same channel. We have the real living legend, a mentor of mine, Clayton Hires, All-Army boxing champion, coach, a legend, Kenny Adams. Guys, look this guy up on Wikipedia. He has worked with everybody. He's worked with world champion. He was an assistant coach, 84 Olympic team. He was a head coach, the 88 Olympic team, one of the two greatest Olympic teams of all time. Roy Jones, he's coached them all. He's going to be on the podcast with us next Thursday, and I spent 2 hours talking to Kenny yesterday just about boxing stuff, and I can't get enough when it comes to the stories, the knowledge, the history. So I think next Thursday's podcast is going to be one of those, these legends don't last forever. These guys don't stick around forever. And unfortunately, when we lose guys like Emmanuel Stewart and these guys, a lot of that knowledge goes away. So I'm really excited to have Kenny on, and really it's going to be kind of a historical podcast. Next Thursday, we're going to be able to talk to Kenny about some of his experiences, his knowledge about the fight game. And I think this is one of those podcasts that's really going to last for the ages. So next Thursday, word on the street with legendary Coach Kenny Adams.
I can't wait, man. Olympic boxing coach Kenny. Wow, I can't wait. Matt from Twitter tweeting in, brother, you sound higher than bird pussy. Actually, I am not high at all right now, surprisingly. Like I said, I've been under the weather. That explains it. And that's why it's such a short show, but I do thank everybody for coming on. Great times. We will see you here next week on the Word on the Street podcast. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you in a few days, man.
Always a pleasure, guys. Prop 91 pass. Let's celebrate. Good night, guys. Have a good one.
What?
There he goes, Coach Jamie Huey, and here we go, signing off for tonight, the Word on the Street podcast. Thank you very much. Follow me on Twitter at The Aunt Jimmy Show. Thanks to Front Row Brian, Jake from the MMA Podcast at themmapodcast.com, and Coach Jamie Huey. Good night. We are out.
Stay black.
Beat him up, break his neck, beat him up.
Play, take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you gonna get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm gonna set it for you real quick. LOB.